Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Archonn coming back at you with Week 5 of World Cup 5 against FredfHK. Now, some of you might know that I got absolutely slaughtered this week. And this was a really big game, too, so wasn't super proud of it. Originally wasn't even going to upload this video, but somebody mentioned I should upload with sort of hindsight commentary, which made a lot of sense. I mean, Pokemon's a game about learning from your mistakes, so maybe one or two of you could learn from mine. And I don't want to make it sound like any of these are excuses either. I mean, I lost this game fair and square, but I'll just be going over what I would do differently, I suppose. Really, it started and ended with a bad team build. I mean, I was pretty hung up on team building this week, and it just sort of produced this team I wasn't comfortable with. I mean, I don't usually play Rain. It's just a badly balanced team. I mean, I thought I had enough physical bulk, but I clearly didn't. And yeah, I guess we'll see how it plays out. So I started with this Scarf Zone here. I mean, looking at the team preview, like I don't have a bad matchup. I mean, if I can catch Empoleon with this Magnezone, I mean, Kingdra kind of does work. I mean, a few Surfs and some Dragon Pulses, and I'm getting some kills. So, I mean, the game plan right now is to get that Empoleon. But of course, Fred being a more, I guess, experienced player or whatever have you, maybe a more accomplished player. Of course, his team build would account for a sort of team like mine. His Empoleon has Shed Shell to get out of Magnezones. So yeah, really my biggest fault was team building this week. I guess I'll sort of lay out the main lesson I want to impress upon you all here today, is that Pokemon is a game of knowledge, and part of that knowledge is being able to team build and how to use a team effectively. And I certainly didn't display my knowledge this week. And you know, if you bring a bad team, it's pretty much over, no matter how good you can play or how well you can predict. You know, if you don't bring a well-informed team, then you just lose. And I guess sort of vice versa. I mean, certainly if you have a good or a well-balanced team, you don't need to maybe make as many predictions or plays to win. But yeah, that's sort of my lesson here. So I'm in on Gliscor. I'm seeing, wow, that did a shitload of damage. This kind of fucking sucks. So I'm expecting a dragon type move here, so I go back into zone. He goes into Hippo. That was a pretty free switch into Serp here. I mean, he's going to throw down rocks, which end up kind of being my demise too. I mean, I have two defoggers, but they don't really work in tandem with each other. I mean, really none of this team does. I really wanted to use Scizor this week because I thought, you know, SD Bullet Punch, Psycho Cut, Close Combat is pretty good right now. But really not against this team. It really is a matchup thing too, right? I mean, you want to bring a team that can beat as many matchups as possible. And that's part of the fun of Pokemon, right? Is optimizing that sort of 6 Pokemon team build from infinite possibilities. But I didn't really do that this week. And I paid the price. So I go into Serp, Leaf Storm, he goes into Mandibuzz. I learned that this is full special defense. So there's no shot in hell I'm ever breaking that Mandibuzz with the Superior. Going to Pelly to get Rain down. Maybe go for a defog. Goes to Hippo, of course. I think I go for the defog here. But yeah, and then I was like, oh, well, maybe I should use Rain too. Rain seems kind of decent right now. But I just don't play Rain, so I just have no practice with it. I don't know how the ins and outs of it work. So I just kind of shoehorned together like a half Rain team, half, you know, I guess balanced team. And it didn't work. And this guy's core is a lot better than mine. I mean, this Empoleon Mandibuzz combo just walls my entire team. Well, here I'm thinking, alright, let's go. This is This is pretty sick right now. I'm gonna get this Empoleon. Of course, I didn't even see that it didn't have a leftover, or that leftovers didn't pop. So I mean, I could safely assume it's Shed Shell. That being said, I wouldn't want to risk it and would want a Thunderbolt anyways. I mean, if he didn't have Shed Shell right here, this would have been a different story. But I mean, like I said, Fred just had the knowledge of how many matchups are unfavorable with this team, and maybe in the past he used to have leftovers, but now he knows that his team kind of gets broken open if there's a Magnezone, so he runs Shed Shell now. You know what I mean? I didn't have that sort of background knowledge or experience with this team. In fact, I think this was the first game I ever played with this team, which is no good. So yeah, I guess my heart really wasn't in it this week, and of course that does sound like an excuse, but it's entirely my own fault, of course. But the rest of the team pulled through. You can catch me in a couple weeks in playoffs, and I'll certainly be bringing my knowledge to that game. This just was not a good showing, though. So there's the Shed Shell. He's out. At this point, the game's pretty much over. I mean, look at how much he's chipped my team already, and I haven't really done anything to him. And I don't have any switch-ins for this. You know, these are things that you would have to think of and know what to do in these situations. But going back to that theme, you know, I didn't have that knowledge. So I did a lot of damage. I mean, he's probably Scarf or Bandit or something. I don't know. So I just go into Scizor to take a Dragon Claw. Does a ton of damage. Like, that's no good. I mean, the downward descent, that's a little redundant. The descent into lost land has started. So, yeah, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. CC, Hippo doesn't do shit. I really wanted to do this sort of Serp and Scizor combo. I mean, you'd be surprised that Scizor can actually kill Rotoms, Weezings, you know, these more common, I guess, walls or pivots that usually would counter Scizor. And ideally, this Scizor would have opened a lane for Serp to just come in and fuck shit up, but I mean, when it's paired with a core that doesn't really support it like this, it can't really do that, unfortunately. So now that he has rocks down and both of my defoggers are pretty much chipped out, I mean, rocks are up the rest of the game, which is no good. Here I'm calcing some Serp's attacks against this Mandy. I mean, this game was pretty embarrassing. I mean, coming off of a 3-win streak, like, you never want to get 6-0'd, especially in like a public setting. But I mean, I sort of took for granted the team building process. I mean, that's not true. I was trying this whole week, but I just was sort of racked with indecision. Trying to be unpredictable. I mean, you know, my first instinct was like, alright, Serp and Weavile. Okay, these are two Mons I've actually played in both of my previous games. It's like, you'll be expecting this, and I suppose he was, in some sense. So I just tried to scrap that, but I always just ended up coming back to Serp and Scizor, no matter how many alternatives I tried or theory crafted. And of course he switches into this Mienshao, which tells me it's probably Scarf. And I don't really want to lose this Magnezone yet. I mean, at this point, I understand that this game is over. There's really no coming back from this. you know, maybe I could get lucky with some Kingdra crits or something, but I mean, this is a losing battle for me at this point. So we got a lot of, in between this game and this commentary, there's been a lot of meta shakeups. Lots of new hidden abilities have been released. Lots of them are very viable. Assault Vest, or in this game is called Assault Gear, was released, which is a very viable item. Of course, none of that was legal for this game, but it will be for playoffs. So there'll be a sort of opportunity to maybe try out some new tech, try out some things that maybe people aren't accustomed to, and that's where that knowledge comes in, right? I mean, lots of testing, learning where weak points are in the meta, abusing them. These are all parts of team building and playing that are important. So here we go. I'm got to do something with Kingdra right here. I mean, the Surf does decent damage, like 30% or something. Just got to click it and get it and hope for a crit or something. High roll crit. But alas, no crit. So yeah, if the game wasn't already over before, now it's truly over. I mean, there's nothing I can do now. Maybe I could, or I think I try to make a play here. Switch into zone to bait out a hippo or something, and then go for some more crits or something. I don't know. But yeah, lots of good stuff. Assault Vest is a great item. I mean, like Assault Vest Conch is still used today in like modern Pokemon formats, and I wonder how good that'll be. I mean, I'd imagine it'd be better in this game considering we don't have like a lot of legendaries and stuff that might usually counter that, like Latios and Latios and shit. Like, what's really beaten an Assault Vest Mienshao or Conkeldurr? Like, I don't even think Togekiss or Reuniclus have favorable calcs against that. So we'll see how that goes. Lots of good hidden abilities. See, I'm trying to think. Nidoking and Nidoqueen got Sheer Force. Ditto got Imposter. That'll be interesting. We'll be seeing a lot of Dittos now, I'd imagine. Especially in dubs. Luxray got Guts. That'll probably be used in NU. Breloom got Technician. Crobat got Infiltrator. Oh, there's my crit. Doesn't do shit though. So yeah. I mean, if I could do this game over, I would bring a completely different team. That's sort of my hindsight that I wanted to say. But luckily the team pulled through. We had a pretty rough start too. I mean, we tied first week, lost second week. I mean, coming back from that to make the playoffs is pretty cool, so good job, Team USA. Alright. Serp has a little bit of an opening here. Maybe I could get a couple crits on Mandy or something. This Mandibuzz tanks this so well. I mean, this is crazy. I didn't even think about using Mandibuzz as a careful, wall. Usually just think of it as bold. But this thing's good, especially in tandem with Empoleon. That's a great defensive core. I don't really know what else to talk about. I mean, knowledge. like listening to these Pokemon lo-fi fucking songs in the background. Put them in all my videos. It's pretty chill. I don't listen to it when I'm playing, but I think it makes good background noise for a video. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the end of the game. MMO is a pretty interesting game too compared to the like normal Pokemon, since there's a lot of meta switch ups, of course. I mean, we have tier council changing stuff every month. We have periodic updates, although I wish they were more frequent. Lots of opportunities to abuse your knowledge, lots of opportunities to gain new knowledge. Bottom line, Pokemon is a game of knowing when to forfeit. No, it's a game of knowledge. Speaking of knowing when to forfeit. Close out the windows. We're done here. So yeah, I mean, not my brightest showing, but it happens. Can't win them all, as they say. Alright, well, I'll catch you guys back in a couple weeks with some more knowledge.